It's movie review time, and today I'm reviewing the biographical drama Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere, which is directed by Scott Cooper and starring Jeremy Allen White, Jeremy Strong, Paul Walter Hauser, Stephen Graham and Adessa Young. Here's the plot. Bruce Springsteen retreats to his New Jersey home, struggling with fame, family wounds and depression. In his solitude, he channels his pain and his creativity into recording the raw and emotional album Nebraska, a haunting masterpiece that redefines his music and his sense of self. The film is based upon the book by Warren James, Deliver Me From Nowhere, and it's said that Bruce Springsteen himself, along with his manager John Landau, had some involvement in the movie. And even Bruce actually visited the set a number of times in helping the on-screen Bruce, played by Jeremy Allen White, to get the characterization as authentic as possible. Excitement level, it's mid to low. I thought I was going to be a lot more excited for this movie, especially when I first heard that they were making a biopic about Bruce Springsteen. But after having watched the trailer, I've got to be honest, it was a little bit boring. It didn't really sort of conjure up any sort of excitement for the movie itself. But who knows? And I really like biopics. I've seen quite a number of them. Now, I don't know too much about Bruce Springsteen and his music that much, but what really got me onto his radar was a film that was released a couple of years ago, which I saw here. It's called Blinded by the Light, and it tells the story of a teenage boy living in Britain, growing up in the 1980s, and how Bruce Springsteen's music relates to his life and inspires him to follow his dreams going forward. If you've never ever seen that film and you like biopics, I thoroughly recommend you check that one out. It's absolutely brilliant. It's one I've seen a few times and I own as well. And it's because of that movie that I actually find myself still listening to Bruce Springsteen's music. So I'm kind of hoping the film today does a very similar sort of thing. I just want to take a moment to thank anyone who's been watching the video so far. I hope you're finding some value from the content. Of course, if you do like the content, do press like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out. And now I'm going to go in, watch the film, and I'll let you know my thoughts afterwards. So the movie, of course, is just finished, so now I'm going to go over the highlights and then the hang-ups, starting with the highlights. What I really liked is this film focused on a particular point, a moment in time of the life and career of Bruce Springsteen when he was creating an album called Nebraska in the 1980s. I did know this fact going in, and I kind of thought it was going to work against it because I don't know a lot about Springsteen's life, but actually that became one of the real highlights of the movie for me. And because the story kind of laser focuses on this point in his life that he really did struggle with in his personal life and his career, I think it really helped the film sort of convey a certain message, which I really gravitated towards. The performance by Jeremy Allen White as Bruce Springsteen, I thought was very, very good casting. Like I said, I don't know too much about Springsteen. I have seen some earlier photos of him, and he actually does look very much like the guy. But as an actor, he did a very good job of making us feel what he felt and going along on the journey that he did throughout the course of the movie. This is quite a somber and reflective tale, and it did actually bring a tear to my eye right towards the end of the film. It's nice when a movie can sort of touch you like that. As far as Bruce Springsteen's music, you do hear a number of songs during the film. You don't really get much in the way of where you see him doing a live performance. You get one of those at the beginning and you just get little flashes of it, but again, this is not what the story's really about. It's sort of like kind of behind the scenes of his life. This film does have a slower pace to it. In fact, for some, I would probably say it might be a bit of a turn-off. If you're not a big fan of Springsteen, or like me who likes these type of films, I could see why some people would sort of probably switch this off halfway through. But in that slower pace, it allowed it to explore, and I found it really, really interesting as we explore how an artist creates their music and the struggles that they face with it, with the fights with the studio, and the discussions with their manager, who is his friend, John Landau. I found the discussions between them very, very interesting as he creates this album. And when an artist creates a song and it's very different from anything that's out there currently at the time, and you can see it on the person who's playing John Landau, he's like, okay, I'm not quite sure what to do with this. I'm not quite sure how to process it, but I'm going to respect you as an artist. I'm going to see it all the way through. And then you see the person who's playing John Landau has to take this vision and present it to the manager of the record label and convince him to put it out there with all the extra things on top of, well, I don't want to spoil all that lot, but it's quite, that bit is actually where I found it quite humorous, because you're seeing like a manager of a record label has to basically compromise and compromise and compromise. And that's exactly what Bruce Springsteen was trying not to do, was to compromise his own vision, because you see as the recording studio is just trying to tweak it and change it to fit what they feel most people would enjoy. And like I said, it was fascinating to see that battle going on. I very much liked how the film started. Where it would show scenes from his past when he was a little boy, it was all in black and white. I thought that was very well shot. As for the rest of the cast, Jeremy Strong, Paul Walter Hauser. Paul Walter Hauser, I haven't really liked him in previous roles. I did like him in this role. His role isn't that big, but what he did, I like what he brought to the movie. And Adessa Young's performance, who plays his girlfriend, I thought was really, really very good. I really enjoyed her performance. I liked the chemistry between her and Jeremy Allen White as Springsteen. I thought that really, really elevated the movie. Also, a very special shout out to Stephen Graham, who plays his father, who we often see in flashback scenes and some modern day ones as well. His performance, very, very good. I've seen him in so many roles, and every single one I think he's absolutely brilliant, and this is no exception. It speaks volumes for the fact that he isn't in the film that much compared to some of the other actors, but when he does a performance that kind of moves you a little bit, that is a true sign of a very good actor. One of Springsteen's most famous songs, Born in the USA, I absolutely love that tune. I've heard it in other movies, and I think that's why I really love it, but taking that away, it's still a fantastic song anyway. I really like that moment of them recording it in the studio, and you're just seeing everyone's face sort of light up and just sit up and realise, wow, something really special has been created here. I thought they were able to capture that moment in time so well. I thought the theme of someone who's really struggling with their interpersonal demons and how they've been sort of brought up, and how they kind of repeat certain patterns and they can see them doing it, yet they still follow those patterns. And the movie's overall message I thought was a very, very good one. Hang-ups. I gave praise to the way this film started. I think I would have liked a little bit more when we were seeing like the black and white scenes. I believe I would have just liked to have seen a little bit more to get more of Bruce Springsteen's background. If we'd got more from his mum and his dad and himself and their interaction, I thought what they did was absolutely fine. It's just that had they added more of that, I think it could have gone a bit more deeper. Especially for people like me who don't know the guy. If you're someone that actually follows his career, then I think you can deal with some of these little footnote versions better than I could. I did like the movie's tone, but I probably felt the movie could have benefited from a little bit more, just a little bit of levity, where we could have heard more of those songs from the past, just to sort of balance out that feeling that you get in the movie. Especially as where the kind of movie ends up, I think that would have helped with things like a rewatch. I probably would have liked to have seen a little bit more of the catalogue of songs that Springsteen sung. You hear them in the background to sort of convey a certain feeling of what the character is feeling at the time, but I probably would have liked to have seen a little bit more of him as a performer. For me, it probably would have helped feel the contrast of the performer and then the real man. Final rating. Despite me not actually liking the trailer that much, I thought this film was very, very good. I loved all the performances by the entire cast. The film had heart, emotion, and told a very good story about one man's pursuit of musical greatness whilst dealing with personal family dramas. This film reminded me very much of the experience I had with A Complete Unknown, which told the story of Bob Dylan. Sometimes when you go on a journey in a certain type of story, it's not one you want to revisit because of where it decides to go or where the story ends up. I watch movies like this where it tells a particular type of story that you don't want to experience again and again and again, but I'm thankful for having watched it. And that's why I'm giving Springsteen Deliver Me From Nowhere 4 stars. Have you seen the film? Did you enjoy it? Did you not? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed today's video, do give us a like and subscribe, and do check out the playlists which feature everything from movie reviews, movie locations, movie attractions, and lots more. I want to thank you again for watching, and until next time, I'll see you at the movies.